you all doing? I hope everybody is fine today. We're having a nice Sunday. It's kind of breezy, but I noticed a lot of people were complaining that it was too hot. Ooh, the planes over here. Flying pretty low. Probably not very good for my sound quality, but what can I do? This is what I'm blessed with. And to be honest with you, I like planes, so it is what it is. Yeah, this morning, on this lovely sunny day, I come at you this morning because I'm a family worker, I'm a family practitioner, and I try and work with people to support them in finding strategies how to deal with things like conflict in the home, things like mental health, behavioural issues in the home, and look at how that disturbs their peace and develop strategies that are going to help them to overcome that, so that they can reintroduce peace into the home, so that when they leave home they can also be better professionals in their jobs. They can achieve more in terms of earnings, in terms of productivity. When they go out to work, they can be better all round, not only in the home but also in their daily lives. And even on their way to work, when they're interacting with other people, it becomes much more positive, because home is a peaceful place, a place that they look forward to getting to after work because things are good. Here's another plane. So what happened with me this week? Many people, to be honest, anybody that knows me really knows that I don't like conflict. I don't do well with conflict. And guess what I had in my home this week? Conflict. I'm not going to go into the details of that conflict, but me and the missus, we had a disagreement, and I'm just thinking in terms of how we dealt with it, how we overcame that to reintroduce peace back into the home, because that's what's really important. I don't want to go out, have a hard day at work, helping everybody else with their issues, trying to be a decent manager and get my team to work as a team, and then have to come home to stress. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to come home and all they're thinking about is when they can get down to the pub, or when they can get to the club, or when they can get away from the person who's at home who they're supposed to say who they claim to love. Right? It's like, what do you do when you have conflict at home? Do you shout it out? Do you go into all the other things that you hate about the other person? Or, to be honest, if you hate stuff about the other person, should you really be with them? That's the first question you've got to ask yourself. But it's like, do you stay on point when you have a disagreement? Do you bring up old stuff? Do you catastrophize? I think I pronounced that right. Do you go on like the person is always doing this particular thing wrong? Or do you give them grace and say, well, you know what, I don't like it when you do that. I accept you don't do that all the time, but I'm just letting you know how it makes me feel. Is that how you handle it? Or do you go and you talk to other people about it, and then they support you by compounding what you say? Their way of supporting you is to agree with you. Their way of supporting you is to give the impression that you're always right and the other person is always wrong. Do they support you by asking you, what was your part in this disagreement? So that instead of always looking outside of yourself, you retake that power that is yours and look at what you could have done differently to make that whole disagreement less impactful in a negative way? Or do you, in the moment, say, you know what, well, I'm going to take a pause. What's going on with this person? Because they ain't normally like that. They don't normally get into disagreements with me. What are the things that you do that in that moment are gonna reintroduce peace to your home? Because after all, to be honest, when we go out and we buy our houses or we rent it somewhere and so on, when we initially get it, in the main, our main thought is, I'm looking forward to coming home to this space, or I want to make this space somewhere that I can feel good. We want to be able to come home and feel comfortable, feel happy, feel that we can get our rest, feel that we can regain that peace that we originally thought. And then when we introduce someone to that, whether we get that property with the person or whether we invite that person to come and live with us, how do we get that peace back? I'm not talking about, them abusive relationships. I'm talking about where you get on with somebody most of the time, or at least you did at the beginning, and for some reason you argue. And it's not necessarily a regular argument. And in fact, let me rephrase that, because you have arguments and you have disagreements. To me, the way how I like to describe the difference is when you argue, you go off on a tangent. You go into stuff that's not about the issue at hand. Whereas when you have a disagreement, you stay focused on the issue and you try your best to work through whatever that particular issue is. It's kind of like the difference between being grown up and being a kid. To me, as a kid, you want to develop the skills to have a disagreement. Hello. Whereas when you're an adult, you have a disagreement and you try to have a disagreement rather than an argument. Because when you have an argument, I don't think it's the most healthy. Everybody accepts it. It happens sometimes, but it's like, where do you go with that? That's my perspective anyway. What do you think? Hello. By the way. So, what I'm talking about right now is the difference between having a disagreement and an argument. I was just telling people that, in my opinion, having a disagreement, you stay on track. You stay focused on the issue at hand. Whereas when you have an argument, you go off at a tangent.
Yeah, get emotional.
Yeah, you bring up stuff that has nothing to do with that particular issue. So it could be historical stuff. It could be just like the person ain't combing their head. Right? It could be anything. You just go off a tangent. And I'm saying, for me, the difference between having an argument and having a disagreement is, when you have a disagreement, it's like you're being adult, you're being grown, and you stay focused on the issue. Whereas when you have an argument, you're going back to like being a kid, and the argument will go all over the place. And each one wants to claim that they're looking at finding a resolution. But
oh my God, the wasp.
Yeah, that one's kind of enjoying our company. I don't know. I can't see him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's close.
Oh my God.
He's close.
Don't find him. Don't find me.
No, he's not.
Okay. Right, I might have to go inside. I might have to go.
I can't see him now.
Okay. Thank you. You saved me.
I did. Is he by me now?
No, he's not by you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can tell we don't like wasps.
Sorry.
As it were. Or at least we're concerned about
Buggies.
the stingers and the wasps. But yeah, like I was saying, I think when you're grown, one of our aspirations is when we're younger should be to know how to have a disagreement rather than an argument.
Yeah, it's negotiating.
Yes. So anyway,
So did you mention that we had a disagreement?
I did.
You're telling the world.
I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them the details. I don't think people need to know the details.
It's not necessary to know the detail, but it was a minor thing, really, in my opinion, but just a long-standing issue that we hadn't quite reconciled.
Yeah, and
fully.
I think part of the reason for that is because, first of all, I'm not the greatest communicator in my home, at least. Second of all, I didn't know how to express what I was thinking at the time. So I blew up a little bit. Not a hell of a lot.
But I know this about you as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not to say we haven't, in the early part of our marriage, that was really a learning curve for me. Like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, why can't he just say what he thinks or, express what he feels? And so that took a few years for me to, like 5 years, I think, for me to wrap my head around.
I think at least. But here's the thing, right? For a lot of Caribbean people in particular, I'm going to say, we are taught to focus on everybody else's feelings. And so then it can be difficult for us to know what we're thinking and feeling on the spot.
Is that a Caribbean thing, or is that a man thing, or is that just a human thing?
I don't know. I'm referring to Caribbean people because it's the Caribbean people that I've spoken to, or males that I've spoken to, who have the same experience, right? And so, and when I say Caribbean, I'm not just talking about those who are born in the Caribbean. I'm talking about those who have that as our heritage. Yeah. So, because at the end of the day, if your parents are born over there, it can be, I'm not saying it always is, it can be a case that they're going to come and be parenting from a similar lens.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So many of us have experienced the beatings and stuff. So, hopefully for most of us it's not a case of it's abusive beatings, but it's something to keep us in line.
Back then.
Yeah.
Back then. But going back to the disagreement thing, at the time, how I handled it, I mean, I was quickly getting emotional in my head. Because, not because of the issue, but because of how you addressed it emotionally.
Yeah.
So I felt that you were emotional about it first, and then I was like, in my head, I was like, what who's this guy think he is? Like, in my head, I started to like puff up myself in my head, and then I just had to quickly think, Natalie, that's never got us anywhere positive, so don't let it come out your mouth, like whatever you're thinking. I think a little bit slipped out.
It did.
A little bit slipped out,
Yeah.
and when it slipped out, I was like, Natalie, that's nothing to do with this situation. That's just squarely you. But if I guess if I were to sit with myself and drill down on that, then it does actually have an impact on the reason why we keep going over the same thing. It does, in a way, but it wasn't the issue at the time.
No.
That was a separate thing that I've got brewing in me.
Yeah.
And so I've parked that because I think I still need to address that, and we can address that separately another time when the space is right and the time is right, like being with kids and whatnot. But yeah, I think from my perspective, I just thought just keep the peace, and then it's best not to deal with this while you're emotional. So I went to bed.
Well,
I just went to bed. I was like, good night.
I would say this, right? Now that you're talking about the emotional side of things, I think it's difficult to have a positive outcome. It's difficult for both parties to hear each other when both are being emotional.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like one has to, one can be emotional.
That was you.
Yeah. Right.
This time.
Right.
Oh wow! You admit it.
What? Right. On this occasion, it was me. But that's where we have to rely on the other person.
I'm so proud of you.
Very much. That's when we have to rely on the other person to not be emotional.
Absolutely.
Right. To bring a level to it.
And I like what you said. Rely.
Yeah.
So you're relying on me in this vulnerable time as your spouse to hold you up in that way.
Because there was something going on for me why I was being emotional.
Yeah, and we need to deal with that as well.
Right.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah. Because we haven't addressed that.
People, I don't like doing all that kind of stuff for myself, but, you know, like I said,
it's necessary. This is what makes the marriage go round. Like, what I love about the way we do what we do in our marriage is we are able to keep this sort of equilibrium. Like, all right, when I approached you with it 2 days later, we were doing something, and then we put kids to bed, or Amy to bed, and then I was like, I thought, right, now's my time. Like, he was about to go downstairs, and I went, oh, by the way, we haven't quite reconciled what happened 2 nights ago, and I think we need to. I'm still holding on to that. I said to him, I'm still holding on to that. Like, I've still got it right there, and it needs to be dealt with.
Right.
And then he, we're calm now. Like, it's calm.
Yeah, I'm not being emotional.
Yeah. We're both calm, logical, and we're able to, just put things in an orderly fashion mentally in order to move through the process for that objective.
Yeah, to return peace to the home.
Yeah,
and
but reconcile the issue as well.
Yes, but in reconciling issue, we return to having peace in the home.
Yeah, that's fundamental.
And this is what I started off by
doing. And I'm not your enemy. You're not my enemy.
Right.
I'm not setting out in any way, shape, or form on any single day to harm you, hurt you, go against you. And I think if this is the chord, like one of the chords in the marriage, then you've got that to go back to, haven't you? That we're never each other's enemy.
No.
We're always on the same team, because the world is like mad enough. We don't need to be crazy towards each other. Much less the family we want to bring up to that. Yeah, we got back to it, didn't we?
We did.
And we kind of addressed it logically. And then what I loved, and this reminded me of why I love this man, is that's it, right there. He just started laughing on the stairs. I'm trying to have this serious conversation about 2 nights ago and blah blah blah. Then he just starts like randomly just laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? And then it just turns into a bit of a joke. It's very light-hearted at that point. And then you just don't take yourself too seriously. I think that's another thing. Don't take yourself too seriously, because again, there's enough out there that will rough you up. The world, illness, death, tragedy. There's so much out there that you could be facing. Like, why make the home? The home should be like a safe haven.
Right. That's what I meant when I was talking about peace.
This safe haven.
It should be with everything that you're facing when you go out to work or when you go out to your daily experiences, right? home should be a place where it's safe.
Safe.
It's
Yeah.
it's a space where you can express yourself, where you can rely on others in your home to.
No, I was just saying this here.
Yeah, I love them though. This is the thing, right?
Well, I hope the people can hear us.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right.
Oh, wave! Somebody's waving. Wave.
Oh, hello. Who's that?
Hello.
Who's waving?
I don't know. There's a couple of waves.
That's-
I'm waving. Wave.
Ah.
Oh, I think we've got to wave. There we go. Wave. Woohoo! Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
I'm just learning.
Are you
this
gonna
stuff.
wave at the other person?
I did,
Oh, cool.
but I'll do it physically.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. What was I saying?
I don't know.
See, this is the thing. I ain't got a good
Brain
memory,
fog. Brain fog.
right?
Sorry.
But
It's that time.
yeah, when we
I'm coming, my
we're
tune.
hoping that
1 minute. I'm coming. Oh.
when we have an experience out in the day, that we can come home to somewhere that's safe, somewhere where we can express ourselves, somewhere where we can cry, somewhere we can laugh, somewhere where we can connect with the other person, in the full knowledge that even if we disagree, we can accept that and our hearts still be open. I remember I heard that
that's
in the show.
from
I can't remember.
yeah. I can accept that, and my heart is still.
Oh,
open.
that was My Wife and Kids.
My Wife and Kids. I can
Yeah.
accept that, and my heart is still open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite. Yeah. This little munchkin's gone. I'm coming. I've got to go, people. See you later. But I'm grateful for you watching.
Let me turn off that. So we're back to me and you, right? So my question would be for you is, how do you practically deal with disagreements in your home? How do you bring that peace back into your home? What we've just expressed is, yes, there was a disagreement that we had, and we didn't resolve it straight away. So I think for me, I needed to press pause on it. I needed to press pause and go and do something else, which happened to be over a couple of days. But when my wife turned around and said, when Natalie turned around and said, this is not resolved, and I need it to be resolved, I had to respect that and appreciate that, because at the end of the day, she could have said nothing. God knows what she could have been doing. We could have been trying to act like it never happened. Hey, that looks like I got 2 mics. Anyway, yeah, we could have been trying to act like it never happened, but that doesn't help anybody. That just means that that's going to come up later on down the line when we have a disagreement about something else, and it will fester. So yes, hit the pause button for a little while, but don't forget to come back and address what happened. You can have disagreements because it helps us to grow. It helps us to understand each other, right? It means that you're being truly open and honest in your relationship. You can have disagreements with your spouse or with your partner, but you can also have disagreements with your children. And with your children, they understand they're less likely to be the ones that are going to come forward and say to you, I need resolution. In some cases they might do, but in general, you as a parent have to take time out when you calm down, when they've calmed down. And you got to come up and say, that which happened the other day, what was really going on? Let's try and find out what's really happening for that person. Do we love them? If we do, we want them to be happy, right? We want them to find peace in the home. That's why we have the home. That's why it's not just a property, a dwelling. That's why we call it home. We call it home because it's supposed to be somewhere where we can find peace, where we can find safety, where we can find oneness. So for me, it's like, well, what do you need? What support do you need that's going to help you to be able to make that happen in your home. Right? It's like you have a disagreement, that's fine. So now, having had that disagreement, you've had the opportunity to learn something new about your partner or the other person who you live with. And then it's like, what do you do after that? What do? Do you keep on going over that same argument? Or do you say, yeah, you know what, I can respect that. And more to the point, I respect the fact that you are willing to open up and have that conversation with me. That's important. Communication, conversation is very important. Communicating both physically and communicating verbally, visually, they're all important. They're all important because it allows our partner, the other person, to know what we're thinking, what we're feeling. And when they know this, now they feel that they're needed more. Now they feel more important to you. And that's important for all of us. We all want to feel important. We all want to feel that our impact is valued or has some kind of value. From the most meek individual to the most violent, we all want to feel a sense of need. And when I say that, I don't mean that we need something. I mean that someone needs us. Someone else needs us for a particular purpose. Doesn't matter who we are. We function as a team with someone or some people as a team, and we put that work in, right? And this is what we do at home. Our goal is to achieve peace. Our goal is to try and share that peace with others that are important to us. For whatever reason they're important to us, we try and share ourselves positively, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. I may well be way off base here, but my experience is that we all want to feel important, we all want to achieve peace, we all want to achieve balance, and it's cool. It's cool for us to feel that way. It helps us to function as a society. Anyway, that was just my little rant for today. We all have a great day. Have peace in your home. Have joy in your heart. Have a good day.